afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Suicide Prevention Committee. Today is October the 25th, and it is 5:44 in the afternoon. So I want to welcome everyone, and I'm going to invite Angie to go ahead and help us with the roll call.
Dr. Julian Passat,
Present.
Maxine Debles, Sergio Chavez,
Present.
Ana Sainz, Earl Medina,
Present.
Gabriel Max Martinez, Jaime Montes.
So we do have a quorum. Thank you so much, Angie. I'd like to go ahead and invite everyone to take a moment so that we can do a reflection. If you will bear with me, let's just take a moment and clear our heads. And let's invite our Creator, whoever that is for you, to join us as we share this time. Heavenly Father, and Almighty God, thank you for bringing us together. Do the work that you have instilled in us for this community. Thank you for your blessings of wisdom, help, and protection. We invite you to share this time with us so that every minute is we do say and pay is to help those around us. Only listen, I pray, Jesus. Amen. Very good. The next item on the agenda is public comments. And I'm going to read this as part of our agenda. Citizens are required to notify members of their intent to comment prior to the start of their meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any side of the issue. Should there be more than 3 people who wish to speak on a particular issue, they need to select not more than 3 representatives to speak for them, and the presiding officer may limit the public comments further in the interest of an orderly meeting. Speakers may not pass their minutes to any other speaker. Comments should be relevant to city business and delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. And Ms. Angie, do we have anybody that signed up for public comments? No. Thank you so much. So we will now go ahead and move over to the committee purpose and membership. And for this, I just want to take a moment and thank Dr. Richard Chamberlain that he presented all of us with a handout. Dr. Chamberlain, would you like to talk a little bit about this?
Sure. Let me grab a copy. So I did provide a letter to the committee, to the official members, but I can definitely read the context for everybody else in the room. So suicide is a significant public health concern that profoundly impacts not only individuals, but also their families and communities as a whole. To put things into perspective, according to the World Health Organization, suicide ranks as the 10th leading cause of death globally. It's alarming to note that for each suicide, there are up to 21 attempts. In our local context, Laredo witnessed 21 tragic suicides the previous year. Adding to this concern, the past 10 years have seen a total of about 159 reported suicides within our community within the age range of 14 to 86. An astonishing 85% of these tragic occurrences were men. It was in response to a significant uptick of suicides in 2019 that the City of Laredo Public Health Department took the initiative to establish the Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee. For an in-depth understanding of this worrisome trend, please consult the enclosed data chart, which is below, which gives from 2014 to 2013 suicide recorded incidences. Recognizing the urgency of this issue, the City of Laredo Mayor and Council made a commendable decision earlier this year in 2023 to formalize our commitment to suicide prevention by establishing a dedicated municipal suicide prevention committee. The City of Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee's mission is to fulfill a vital role in creating awareness about suicide prevention, navigating people to essential resources and support to those at risk, and executing strategies to reduce the alarming suicide rates that have gripped our community. The City of Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee will join forces with local educational institutions, healthcare providers, and community organizations to collaboratively create and implement tailored suicide prevention initiative programs and services. In addition to the committee, In addition, the committee will assume responsibility for identifying risk factors and recognizing early warning signs associated with suicide. Equally important is our commitment to combating the stigma associated with suicide and mental health challenges. We aspire to promote mental health well-being and resilience through our community. To achieve this, the City of Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee will unite stakeholders from various sectors to create a comprehensive and coordinated approach to suicide prevention that comprehensively addresses the community's diverse needs. In summary, it is imperative to recognize the City of Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee as an indispensable element to our public health strategy aimed at curbing the distressing suicide rates within our community. The committee serves as a unifying platform for collaboration, education, and most importantly, action. By working together, we can save lives, foster mental health well-being, and bring about a positive transformation in our community. Thank you for your dedication to serving our community.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chamberlain. Does anybody have any question about this letter or the comments that you made? And this is a beautiful handout. Thank you so much. Members of the committee, I did give you a handout, and it's the format of a PowerPoint. And basically what I did is I just took our agenda and added the information, supporting documentation. The first one says Suicide Prevention Committee purpose and membership. So Dr. Chamberlain already read to us our purpose. I went ahead and added the composition, which is 9 members appointed by the mayor and city council, and this was created through a motion on February 6, 2023, and you have the number there to reference, M2023-R-02, and this is considered a standing committee that is formed to exist permanently, unless the council and mayor decide otherwise. If you turn to the next page, you will see about the membership, which again tells you that the committee members are appointed by the 8 city council members and the mayor. And of course, we do have non-appointed committee members, and Mr. Arquez that join us tonight, and those have general interest and passion for supporting the mission, and many of them have already worked tirelessly on preventing and creating awareness about suicide. Next to that page, you will see the appointed committee members and who appointed them, the day of appointment, and the date their appointment expires. And this is for informational purposes. And some of the benefits of the committee, which is to assist in the performance of city business, to provide the city council with input from the public on various issues. As an actual city committee, it facilitates the support of the resources of City of Laredo, to provide documented evidence of community activity on a certain subject to be used in case of need for funding opportunities for the community. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have reviewed the committee purpose and its membership and how this is developed. So are there any questions about that or need for clarification? Very good. So hearing no questions, I will go ahead and move to the next item, which is the meeting of June the 7th, 2023. For the members that are present that were not here then, that's when we try to call a meeting to have a quorum and act on some items. We did not have a quorum. We had a couple of members present only, so it turned into an informational session where coalition members from the community shared some of the activities that we had done, but no action was taken. So with that being said, I want to acknowledge all the members, committee members present today. We have a total of 4, and through this quorum, this is officially our first committee meeting. So thank you so much. Without you, we would not be able to continue as a formalized meeting. The next item is the future meeting dates. So because of the importance of having a quorum, one of the things that I want to present to you for discussion is the best day of the month to meet, because I would like for this committee to come together once a month. It's going to take some time to get us used to meeting on a regular basis, but I think that it's important, looking at the significance of the work that we have to do and built already on what the coalition has done all year long. It's important for us to bring together our wisdom, our resources, our ideas, so that we can continue to navigate the best way that we can empower people with education, information, and just our support. So I'm gonna open the floor for discussion about future meeting dates that you would like to meet. I would like to have a monthly meeting. And is this a good time for you? I guess we can start with the time first. What is the best time for all of you to come together so that we can have a forum? I really need your commitment.
I'm gonna provide some guidance here. Ultimately, only appointed members can make decisions and contribute to the conversation, but they can take recommendations from participants of this group as well.
Thank you, Dr. Jimmy. So, committee members, what do you think? The time to meet?
I'm actually open to any time as long as we stay accordance a meeting every month. So we could try to continue this committee meeting every month and getting the proper information that we need to get, so we could go ahead and spread the word to not only our council members that we're representing, but the committees that we all work for. So we could go ahead and spread the news, spread the information, and gather more information to bring to our prior meetings in the future.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes, to follow up with that, I much concur with that. The 5:30s for me work perfectly, whether that's Monday through Friday, I'm free for that.
Thank you so much.
5:36?
30 or 6.
Dr. Masad?
For me, I will make myself available because when I took on this responsibility of saying yes to this position, if you all tell me that you can meet at 5 o'clock in the morning, I will make myself available. You don't say that, but. And I know, is 5:30 good or is 6 o'clock best for you or? Okay, so then we're looking at 5:30 based on the comments. The day of the week, today is the last Wednesday. Am I correct, or do we still have another Wednesday?
This is the last one.
This is the last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday of the month. Do we wanna go by the day of the week instead of the number? Because I think that makes it easier for everyone. What do you think? The last Wednesday of the month at 5:30?
Yeah, the last Wednesday of the month, probably, I don't know if just Wednesday works good for everybody, or we prefer Thursday or Tuesday. Like with me, it really doesn't matter. It all depends on everybody's work schedule and
Well,
meetings.
I'm gonna say this because those that are here are obviously making a forum, right? So if I have your commitment, and I'm not excluding the other individuals, because I want you to know that Angie did call all of you, and all of the people that received the call said, yes, today was a good time at 5:30, so maybe something else happened for them, they cannot be here. Of course, we will let them know that this was decided. So the last Wednesday of November is going to be the 29th, 5:30. Is everyone in agreement with that so that we can go ahead and make a motion? I'd like to invite someone to make a motion that we begin to schedule these meetings on a monthly basis, the last Wednesday at 5:30.
May I offer a recommendation?
Sure.
If, for the month of December, since the last week is in between holiday season, that meeting would be moved back to January, or that we just strike that one from the record, so that way we don't have that meeting in between. Now, unless I'm completely open to the group meeting during the holidays, but I know there's a lot of traveling and a lot of family time, so I wanted to see.
Yeah, 'cause I was, sorry about that. It was like, it's,
December 20th.
yeah, Thanksgiving's prior week and a lot of people get a week off.
Well, I'm thinking about December.
Or December.
Yeah, December.
Because November 29th would be the week after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
But then December 27th will be right after.
The holidays.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So we skip December.
Just skip December, that was my recommendation, but ultimately, it's the committee's decision.
yes. Okay, very good. So then, the motion would include, not meeting in December due to the holidays. So who would like to make that motion? So you make the motion and you second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So it is official, we will begin to meet the last Wednesday of the month at 5:30 with the exception of December. And then we will resume in January. And Angie and I will make sure that we send the notices out ahead of time, the calendar invites. as to why we are here and why we exist. And today we have Sergeant Javier Rodriguez to do the presentation. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Javier Rodriguez. I'll be presenting a flare. Find it best if I just go forward. Before I start, I did have a question, Dr. Jimmy. What was the amount of death by suicide that you note on that?
11.
11?
So I have not seen his stats. Ultimately, as the registrar for the city of Laredo, our system takes a couple of weeks to months after any death that occurs in our community for us to record that within our vital statistics office. So we might lag a little bit behind the data that is 100% current in the moment from the Laredo Police Department. So what you see here, this number might be different on scale from what PD might present right now.
Thank you.
So if you focus on the far right, there's two numbers. Back in June, when Deputy Chief Gonzalez presented, there was the last two being 6. 6 was the amount of deaths by suicides that we had as of June. Today, that number has gone up 8, so the total is 14. You notice at the bottom, deaths by suicide 2023, it says 14. I'll go over each one of those, the incident, the way it happened, the way it was reported. Emergency detention, also back in June, was 206. To this date, now it's 484, which I think it went up 278 in 3.5 months, almost 4 months. Those are the amount of emergency detentions we've had to date. These are the same numbers as far as deaths, but they're broken down by month. So starting July, there was actually one more in June that wasn't reported in June. It was in late June. July had none. August had 2. September had 3. And October has 2 so far. Totaling the 14 that I mentioned on the previous slide. These are the statistics that were brought up by Deputy Chief Gonzalez back in June. He reported 6 deaths by suicide, which were 5 by self-inflicted gunshot wounds and 1 by hanging. The ones that I will cover are these. An additional 8 from that point today, which are 3 by gunshot wound, 4 by hanging, and 1 by self-inflicted knife wounds. But I'll go over each one throughout the timeline from beginning to end as far as the occurrences. The first one right after was actually occurred June 12, 2023 at 9:59 a.m. Location was 4400 Exodus Drive. There was a report of a 29-year-old male adult who was found deceased by manner of death gunshot wound. The synopsis, the Laredo officers were dispatched to a missing person report by a male who claimed that his son, a 29-year-old male, had been missing since the night before. Information that led the officers to Information led the officers to the property directly behind the residence where they found the male deceased with a gunshot wound to the head. The decedent was described as depressed due to recent events involving housing. Apparently, the decedent wanted to move out of his house. He was 29 years old, still lived with his parents. Trying to find an apartment, couldn't find one. And the decedent was involved in a hit and run the night before. That's significant. He was involved in a hit and run the night before, fled the scene, was located by police. The investigation determined that the victim did not want to file charges, so he was released, but soon after this happened. On August 1st, 2023, which is the second one after, at 7:55 a.m. at location 2900 Pebble Trail, a 61-year-old adult male was found deceased by manner of death, gunshot wound. In this one, the synopsis reads, officers were summoned to a welfare concern where a female stated that her husband possibly had shot himself in their restroom. Officers arrived and observed a male with a gunshot wound to his head in a seated position, still inside the restroom. The only thing the wife reported was recent financial problems. This individual had no prior history of any contact with PD that would cause us to refer him to any mental health authority. He had never been arrested. That actually goes for all of these. All of these had no prior reference by us to the mental health authority. The third was on August 16th, 2023 at 4:47 a.m. by 400 River Hill Loop. A 29-year-old female adult was found deceased, manner of death, gunshot wound. Officers were summoned to a welfare concern by a male reporting that his sister had not been heard from in 2 days. The reporting party detailed that his sister was suffering from depression due to recent events. In this one, the depression, according to the family member, the brother, was that the decedent had an issue with how she would identify. She wanted to be a male. She was scheduling some kind of a procedure, but that led to the depression that she felt at this stage. The officers made entry into her apartment and found her on the kitchen floor with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That, again, this one had no prior reference by us to the mental health authority. She had never been arrested. Just the normal, tickets, victims of crimes, but nothing significant to where it would merit us to do some kind of a referral to the mental health authority. On 9/2/2023 at 8:17 a.m., the location was 300 East Corpus Christi. A report was made by, correction, there was a 15-year-old adult male that was found deceased by manner of death hanging. The synopsis reads, the officers responded to an attempted suicide where a male reported that his male relative, I believe it was his cousin, hung himself in the backyard. The male caller further detailed he drank with his relative the night before due to his relative going through a recent separation from his wife. The male was found by police hanging from the fence from an extension cord. The backstory to this one was they made an arrangement to drink alcohol the night before. They drank. According to the reporting party, the decedent vented about the recent separation. After the drinking, the reporting party fell asleep, and the decedent decided to go to the backyard and use an extension cord to hang himself from the fence. No prior history either on this one, as before. On 9/4/2023 at 10:49 a.m., location 2900 Saltillo Street, a 37-year-old male adult was found deceased by manner of death, knife wounds to his torso. Synopsis reads, police responded to a deceased person call by a male detailing that he found his son in the shower with no pulse. Medical personnel later discovered the decedent had a knife under him, as well as 2 knife wounds in his chest area. The father reported the decedent suffered from depression for years. In this one, the male was found in the shower with the shower still on, and the decedent was found in a fetal position. So at the point when the father found him, there was no indication of any injury. So when medical personnel actually moved the decedent, that's when they found the knife under him and two wounds to his chest. In this one, there was a doctor involved. He was taking medication, but that was sought out by the family, sought out by the decedent. Nothing referred by us. It was done by the family, by the decedent on his own, and he was taking medication prescribed by them. On 9/20/2023 at 7:01 p.m., 100 Main Avenue, a 31-year-old male adult was found deceased by manner of death hanging. Police responded to an attempted suicide call where a male reported that his brother-in-law was found hanging in his closet by shoelaces. Police entered and found the male hanging from a clothes rack by a shoelace and was soon after pronounced deceased. He was found deceased at the report generated by the officer that was the language used. The reporting party detailed that the decedent had recently become depressed over losing his job. had recently lost his job. There was also indication that he had lost the relationship with the brother-in-law's sister. But the most recent event was that he had also lost his job. And that led to this incident, or it presumably led to this incident. October 4th, 2023 at 7:28 a.m. by the location of 100 Lindenwood Drive, a 63-year-old male adult was found deceased by a member of the hanging. The synopsis reads, police responded to a deceased person report where a male detailed that his brother had hung himself in his closet. Apparently these two brothers lived together. They had individual rooms, and the reporting party, which is the brother, found the decedent in his corresponding room, hung in his closet. Police arrived and found the deceased male hanging by an empty pillowcase and a belt. So he used an empty pillowcase and a belt, put it around his neck, and hung himself in his closet. The caller reported that his brother, which was the decedent, was scheduled that morning for a divorce proceeding to continue a process that had started 4 years prior. So he had been going through a divorce for 4 years. That morning he had court for a divorce proceeding, and this night. Again, no referrals by us to the mental health authority prior to this event. And the last one, on 10/19/2023 at 6:42 a.m. by 4600 Camacho Lane, a 43-year-old male adult was found deceased, manner of death, hanging. Police responded to a deceased person report where a female detailed her husband had hung himself outside the residence using an extension cord tied under their carport canopy. The female reported that her husband was going through a depression due to the recent death of his brother and drank excessively. On this one also, there was history of domestic disturbances between the wife and the husband, but nothing that led to an arrest, nothing that led to a referral to the mental health authority. And he was an excessive drinker according to the wife. And that's all eight as far as the 8 that were added to the 6, which are now 14 to date.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you so much.
I do.
Yes.
Is counseling provided or to the families after, or the person that found the disease, or police officers that responded? Is that something is that a service that's available for them, or are these resources provided?
I believe Pillar has a grief support every Wednesday at 6:30, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that they do have several family members of individuals that have diagnoses.
I think what it's Dominguez. Ms. Dominguez. Yes. I think what Ms. Dominguez is pointing out, which could be something good, well, bad choice of words for the moment, but in the moment, that there could be some type of connection for that family that could be provided from PD. And that's something I guess we can take back to leadership and see what type of service we can already provide in the moment to those, to the family of the unfortunate lost individual.
And to PD. Both.
And to
Yes,
PD.
because they respond
And fire.
and that's, yes. like
First
that.
responders, mental health, but then also a service, and that's a strategy that the committee can
I
definitely
think-
speak about.
I think that's excellent. Thank you for your report, and I think the points are very well made. I would like for us to consider taking it a step further, not just giving the family unit information as to where to seek help, but also how can we share this with, like you were saying, Pillar has those sessions. How can we share that information with Pillar? Is that something that we can do, or that maybe,
What you could do though, Julie, I think I follow your thought, but I don't think you could do that.
It's PHI, protected health information in the moment that it's happening, of course. Once a death certificate is processed, then that information could be released, but that would take weeks later.
But how could you do it in the fact that even just, who would be able to do that? Not as a follow-up phone call, I don't know if the police could, or somebody like a week and ask the family how they're doing, and at that point to give them some resources.
Or a community card that has, these are the services and something that they can have available to
Survivor's
provide.
grief.
Yes, to provide in the moment.
There was a program, I attended a training maybe about 6-7 years ago. It's very popular in Harris County, bigger areas. It's called the LOST program. And what they do is that they work with what they call survivors. So they identify survivors as individuals who have lost somebody to suicide, and they work hand in hand with PD. So they actually work 24 hours a day. It's a lost survivor, and it's also an LPC that accompanies them, and they accompany LPD when they are reports of a suicide. They attend the event when it's happening, and they do provide immediate help. Some people have said that it's very controversial because it's very sensitive at that time, but others have agreed that it helped them actually know that there was help right on the spot. So that's a program that I know that they do annual trainings, and it's called the LOST program. So it's something that has been done in Texas before, and they do go on site 24 hours a day with PD to provide that emotional support if needed. Of course, PD clears out the crime scene, they separate the family, and that's where the LPC and the survivors speak to the victim.
And I'm sure the officers do this as well, because we have a very good police force here, and they're very thoughtful about a lot of things. At that time, if they're by themselves, do they try to see if they would you like us to call somebody? Is there somebody that you, especially if they're by themselves, the person that died by suicide? I'm sure they do that, but it's just another thought you might want to be sure that they would say, you're here, is there somebody we could call? And then stay. I know some of us would be willing to be called if we needed to on the spot, just to go be with them, but if we could say, because there's really not much you can say at that point, you just want to be there with them. Is there somebody we could call? It might just be something to, because I'm sure you just don't leave them.
Well, just to clarify, because I supervise the mental health unit, but when it's a decedent, they don't call us, they call robbery homicide to make sure that it is not a homicide, that it is an actual suicide, and to investigate if there's any aiding in suicide. So the homicide investigators actually are the ones that always make it out. So those would be the ones that would actually have that information to give, but they usually treat it as an
Maybe
investigation.
they could come to the next, I should keep my mouth shut. Maybe they could come to the next
This is how we
meeting.
connect the dots. This is good
You
conversation.
know, to have them come to the, maybe from that particular unit to come to the meeting. And I think these are excellent, like on the spot, somebody that.
And it could be, I mean, it could really be a card, and it could even have a QR code. So at that moment, they don't know numbers, they don't know, I mean, the survivors are, so I don't know that somebody there at that moment would be something that they would want, because you don't, but a card of here, and then they, and then you remember after.
24 hours later.
Yes.
48
yes.
hours.
Yes, it's just an idea.
It's an excellent idea, and I think that all the points that have been made are excellent and things that we should definitely look at, but I think that, like Sister Rosemary was saying, maybe we should invite the unit that goes out there for those calls to see where we can provide, whether it's a reference card, a sticker for them to put on their refrigerator for when they're ready to seek help.
Well, that's something very simple, that if it's generated and it has those resources there, we could just give them to the supervisors for the robbery homicide, and they can spread those.
It's been a while, but the previous gentleman that was with the mental health unit, through the Area Health Education Center, we provided him with a one-pager listing all the different resources like Pillar, Mercy Ministries, Gateway. We need to maybe pass that around to see if we need to update it and then share it with you. On that one page, it includes all the mental health services available in our community. know, what do y'all think?
I think that would be wonderful, and I can elect for the health department to maybe, as mentioned, link it to a QR code, which our comms team can do, and we can make an initial purchase of business card size, you know, to pass in the moment, something discreet, not anything large, as a paper that could, you know, be put down, or something they can place into their pocket so that as they internalize the moment that they're living through, and we can step that up for the group, so.
And they might call at that moment, like Sister Rosa, they might want to talk to somebody, I mean, but it's there. It's
They'll know
there.
what to call.
Yes, yes.
So we can take that on for us.
I'll pass these out. I know we did them for our clients and our staff, and it's just all the hotline services. So if you want, I can pass, I don't know how many I have, but I can also email them. And these are, and I've made these we provide them when we do outreach events or when we see our clients. And it's just a bunch of all of our local hotline services, well, not local, but nationwide hotline services. It breaks it down from veterans to crisis text line to the LGBTQ to trans, different categories, or the general 988 hotline as well.
QR codes are super friendly now, yes, they just scan them and it takes you directly to the.
We can even shrink the card even more to business card, you know, that's card stock.
And this
That's
way
what I
y'all
was
can have it in
Quality,
virtual units,
with
right?
the QR code
Well,
on there. and
it
pass
would be
it on.
more of because these situations would be always responded by that particular unit, which is Robbery Homicide. Because they have to make sure that it is a suicide and not something that's staged. So that's their priority, is to make sure that the investigation is done and to make sure that there was no aiding suicide or anything like that. But at that time, they're focusing on the investigation itself. So it's something that they can give out, and something like you mentioned, Dr. Chamberlain, something as small as something that you put in their pocket, that's something they can give out. And I can coordinate that with the supervisors from that unit. It's as simple as me just letting them know that this is something they can give out and open.
That's available for them.
The funeral homes also, for them to have them there.
I know 988 has, I have some of you on them as well.
I don't think they let
988
them
does
funeral
have
homes.
like the
I think
little
that's more
QR
of a-
code.
We can't be advertising certain funeral homes or something like that.
No, to have
No, to
these
have
at
some-
the funeral
When
homes.
they have the wait.
I ordered them.
Because after the everything in their home and people stop visiting, it becomes more real, and so having them there, I'm just saying, like, out in the community, but specific places where they're going to be at.
Well, we need to start somewhere, right? And I think starting at the point where the family's left without their loved one is an ideal place to start with. And thank you, Dr. Chamberlain, for making your resources available for this. And I think it's great discussion, and hopefully we'll be able to get this done quickly. How quickly can we do this?
I would elect that we would start immediately, and that this can be then finalized the week before the following meeting. So that way we do have, as we do know, also unfortunately there is the holiday blues that rolls around during this time, or anxiety, depression, and to increase in their prevalence. And it would be a great action tool for this committee to already have something that can be available if indeed there is those moments of darkness for family on the 988 side, because it can be coupled with this also for those persons who are in moments of crisis themselves. So I will task our MARCON team, our marketing communications team, to be able to develop that, but it would take the group's effort to be able to get the most updated information from the various organizations that are local. And then we can also include, of course, those national hotlines as well. That the local would be best, just in case there is a request.
So we
for
have a
immediate
one pager which I can distribute to the committee to see if you have anything to add. We try to keep that updated.
Okay.
I'm sure we're all of you here today. And if you know something else that's available, please add it, but it's pretty inclusive.
I mean, if we can get that done by Wednesday of next week, 7 days from now, then we can turn that into an online profile with a QR code, and then therefore can have the design implemented on the card with a QR code on it as well. and have that ready to go for the holiday season. And that would be a great first action out of this meeting.
So we need to go ahead and take action that the committee would like to take on this project so that we can develop it and have it made available for the Laredo Police Department to distribute it at the locations that they intend to. I would like to make a motion on this. Would you state your name for the recording?
Jairo Medina, District Rep.
Second.
I'll second. Caleb Martinez.
Caleb Martinez, seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. So thank you so much for that great discussion and the homework that we all have to do. So I will tomorrow morning send that over to all of you. If you just make sure you add your email address so that we don't exclude anyone. Very good. Now we move on to the next item, which is the update on the You Are Not Alone awareness activities. And I did include in the package just some of the information, and I probably left some things off, but I want to commend the coalition and some of the members present today for the list of activities that were held during the month of September. And we had radio interviews, TV interviews. We had a joint proclamation, of course, here at the City of Laredo Health Department, the city. We also had presentations on suicide awareness and prevention to several Rotary groups during the month of September. Border Region, as all of you might know, had also a walk and health fair. There was also 2 mental health awareness virtual gatherings in the month of September. And we ended the month with the Laredo Health podcast, episode number 4, that I was honored to be a part of with Dr. Chamberlain. Who has listened to that? Let me see if I get hands. If you haven't listened to it, you're in trouble. It's available. Please listen to it and give us your input. And I'll ask the committee members in particular because it's very important that we all know the efforts that are being made, not just by one person, but the entire community. And then, of course, if you have any ideas, bring them to the table. I know Dr. Chamberlain and his team have an excellent setup, and maybe we need to do something for the month of December and talk about the booze and talk about the page that's available with resources and talk about our commitments, committee members. This is a platform that we really need to take advantage of to get the word out. So during the month of September, that's what occurred. In addition to that, the newspapers, both the Laredo Morning Times and the Laredos, which is a digital newspaper, assisted us with running banners about the 988 and also the button in English and Spanish. We were also so happy to learn that IBC, PNC, JetBo, and Playmore in their digital banners showed the 988. To this day, I was standing at the corner of the other and I was waiting for the light to turn green, and I see the 988 in English and Spanish. That just made me feel so happy because I thought people that are standing there at the light, like I was, are reading that and they can give that support. So I'm very proud of all the work that the coalition has done, and because of that, our committee members today can feel the support of the entire community. So we ourselves are not alone. When we come up with ideas like the discussion we just had, we will have the support of all these wonderful people that have already been working hard to create awareness and support. So I want to just commend the coalition and tell everyone publicly thank you. But the work has just now begun. We still need to do some more, and we welcome your ideas. So that was on what I had on that. The next item is the open discussion, and this is open for anything that you would like to bring to the table about what you learned today, maybe, or what you heard, or if you know of a resource in a different city that you would like for us to look into, or a service. This is the time to talk about it.
ways, with, just different departments where we can possibly follow up with individuals that have gone through a situation such as that.
I think that that's a very good point, and I think when we develop this tool, maybe that can be made available to the people, human resources, when they're doing their
Or an exit interview or something like that.
So, again, the tool could be used in many ways, once we develop it and have it and approve it. And I think it'll be, something that we will continue to revise as new resources are developed. So, excellent idea, thank you. Anyone else?
Also, I noticed, not just for the radio, but nationwide statistics are usually males that die by suicide. And I know in September as well, we went to a local barber school and we did train them on asking about suicide. So all of these are students that are studying to become barbers. And it's something that we are hoping to do every semester with their students. And they asked a lot of questions. They were very comfortable. Everybody got a 988 magnet that they went ahead and put on their station. Just because men do talk at barbershops, and sometimes they're more gatekeepers, they're not counselors, they're not trained to diffuse the situation, but at least to provide those appropriate resources. So they were all given the hotline cards that I provided, as well with the magnets to put on their station. And there is an initiative that I saw, and it's something where this individual started with his barbershop and went nationwide, where they train every single barber to also be kind of like CHWs and also provide that mental health assistance for men. So I'm hoping another barber school did reach out, so we're hoping slowly to get into either, if men are coming to mental health services, the mental health service is coming out to them. So whether it be going to barber shops, whether it be going, we want to get away from alcohol and stuff like that, but bars and stuff like that, where we provide this information and actually go out and reach out to males. I know one of the barber students said she worked part-time at a gym. So she said, what if you drop off some of those flyers as well at the gym? Because we have tons of guys going to the gym and we hear it all the time, like, this is my therapy. This is where I come to for my self-care. So maybe just having those resources there and just going out to the community of males are coming to get the resources.
Utilizing the barbershops, the beauty salons, the estheticians is something that is in our plan for CHWs, as we want to make sure that those individuals who have those non-formal conversations that are non-healthcare settings, where they're a little bit more lax, that person becomes a CHW to help navigate that individual through conversation to essential social services that are available, or healthcare services that they don't know that are available. So as we are training our barbershops and daycares right now with our All Kinds of Minds master plan, it is our next step to then implement CHW training to get them certified, so that these types of initiatives go far and wide, and that there are pathways to support service guidance in our community.
Very well said. And I love the ideas presented in the discussion. And there's always going to be room for us to do more each time. The more we gather, the more we have our ears and eyes open to possibilities. I really hope that one day you will come with a report that says, we don't have anything to report this month. Would that be wonderful? So, but until then, we need to continue working together. I love all of your ideas, and like I said, once we have the tool, then we can develop a strategy with a timeline. By this time, we're going to share with these people or train these people. It takes all of us, and all of us have great ideas. So, anybody else, sister?
No, I just thank you for letting me lead it. I appreciate it.
No, I'm glad you could make it, sister. Thank you so
We
much.
went to Halloween party with the shelter. We would have me dressed up as a witch. They undressed me as I was going out the door. They said, we can't let you out. And I said,
Well, thank you for doing that. Very well. We've come to the point in the agenda where we have